Hello, welcome to the Jack and Joe show. Fulham are on the brink of the promised land, and I have Joe Sansom alongside me to talk it all through. How are you today?
Yeah, really good, thanks. How could you not be after
Mm,
Wednesday? I mean, this could be the last video we do before
ever.
promotion is officially. Yeah, well, hopefully not. Before promotion is announced. So fingers crossed. What about you, Jack? I mean, you went there. It must have been. I think I sent you a message saying, was that the best away day of the season? Obviously, there's been the 7-0s.
Mm,
There's been a few scrappy ones, but the fact that it was so far up north, midweek,
mm.
seemed like a good amount of Fulham fans that travelled. It must have been the best one.
Yeah, it's a weird one actually. Everyone was like, this was the best away of the season. And then someone was like, I think Adam, one of the guys who goes home and away, was like, no, it wasn't. There was better ones. But the thing is, like, it's so hard to rank away days now in what was the best and what was the, because so many things factor into it. It's pre-drinks, game, result, goal scorers, celebrations, like it all
And
factors in.
context as well, I guess,
And
because
context.
like if this
Yeah.
was in August, for example, that exact game,
Mm.
it's completely different, isn't it? You'd be thinking, oh, we didn't play. I mean, we'll come on to it, but it's a scrappy 1-0 win, you know?
Mm. But I feel like if I was to really sit down and think about it, I have to categorize all of the aways into these sort of categories like context and celebrations and pre-drinks, whatever. There were no pre-drinks because we drove up from Leicester. We did have a 9.5% beer on the way to
Wow.
the ground, which was pretty strong. And they had in the concourse they had one of those like new machines that are going around, the self-pouring pints where you like slot it
How
into
was
like some
that?
sort of machine. Well, Max got a pint. I didn't. I saw how it was working. I thought, well, that is cool. And actually the guy who was like monitoring it, because if you didn't have anyone monitor it, it would be all hell would break loose basically. He said, "Oh, we're going to be going down to Craven Cottage to try and get it going at the cottage and like try it out there," which seems exciting, of course, because I feel like the concourse of Craven Cottage needs a bit of a revamp, but that's another discussion. So yeah, was it the best away of the season? It has to be because of the context, doesn't it? It didn't feel like it, but upon reflection, maybe it was, and that Mitrovic had a goodness me. Joe, let's just talk about it, shall we?
Yeah,
How did you watch it? I'm guessing you watched it on Sky, and how did you
I
perceive the
did.
game?
I did. I thought it was, you know what? I actually thought it was a really good game, which my initial reaction after full time was scrappy, but you know, there was a lot of chances in it. It was end to end. The first half, I thought we played really, really well. We were the
Mm,
better side. And then second half, I felt like we just weathered the storm, basically scored from our only real chance. And that is the mark of champions. It's the sort of game that you'd see. And we saw years ago, there's one that really stuck out to me, and it's such a random game, but it was when Hull beat us 1-0 the season they went up, which would have been
Hernandez.
Hernandez scoring the penalty. And I remember looking at them thinking, they played crap, and we
Mm,
really should have got something from this game. They had one chance, they scored it, and I felt like it was a bit like that. Maybe not to the same level, because in the first half, like I said, I did think we played well. Um, but it was so satisfying when the full time whistle went. Don't get me wrong, Middlesbrough missed some gilt edged chances that weren't anything to do with brilliance from us or any goalkeeper saves or blocks. Not saying that we didn't defend very well, but on another day those go in. But when the luck's with you, it's with you, and it really felt like everything went our way. Um, might come on to the results elsewhere as well that did go our way.
oh my god, yeah.
I mean, maybe not Nottingham Forest, which ironically is probably the more relevant to us, but um, yeah, some interesting developments elsewhere. But no, really satisfying. And in the ground, I don't know, did it feel like we would see it out? Were you confident? Because watching it at home, even though we were weathering the storm, but really under the cosh, I felt reasonably comfortable, and I felt confident that we could see it through the same way that I felt confident that we'd see through the QPR win if we hadn't scored the second goal.
Yeah, it's actually, you know how we were talking about on the other day about how QPR, we just didn't ever feel like QPR were going to score. It was the exact opposite with Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Um, it with those
Every
three or
time they
four
went
chances
forward.
they had. Well, it wasn't even like every time they went forward. It was just like every time the ball got flashed across the face of goal. It was only the magnitude of the chance that you realised how big of a chance that was until the ball actually went wide. Was it the header? I can't remember who did the first header. I remember Coburn doing the second header. And of
I think
course,
the first one was Sporar, I think.
Was it Sporar? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who seemed to, by the way, having a little chat with Mitrovic, like pre and post game. I wonder, where is Sporar from, country wise?
I actually don't know.
In the comments below, if you know, please, because obviously, I don't know, they would talk about something.
Find it now. Slovenian.
Oh, okay. So that's I can sort of understand it.
Yeah.
Strikers Union, but yeah, it was sort of like we were standing there with like our hands on our heads, like, oh my god, I can't believe he's missed that. Because from where we were in the ground, it basically looked in, especially the second header basically looked in. And then the Watmore chance is one of those so Sky Bet Championship chances where a bad touch from actually it starts off with Harry Wilson trying to run out towards the halfway line or whatever, out of the final third. Just boot it long. That's poor game management. I know he's got space to run into, but he gets quickly closed down. And then, of course, the touch from Reed, which just lays it on a plate for Watmore. I literally was like 1-1 in my head. I was like, that's a goal.
My heart sank. I thought guaranteed goal.
I've never felt that sure of a goal since, ironically, it wasn't a goal. But do you remember when Spurs won it against us last season? And there was like 4 players offside. I was like, that's a goal. And then, and I just can't believe he blazed it. And it was such a rash finish. Really unlike Duncan Watmore as well, who's actually pretty decent this season. And yeah, it was just one of those nights. And that was like the last second of the game, last chance of the whole game. And couldn't believe that we sort of come away with the victory, Joe. Shall we talk about the goal? Because that was pretty special.
What a goal. Well, one of my favourite from the season for me. I mean, the leap is unbelievable. It's like a doy against Derby. I saw someone compare it to, and
good shout.
I mean, the way he got up is crazy for someone of his size as well. I couldn't believe he was unmarked at first glance. So when I saw it, my initial reaction was, he's got to be offside, because there's no way he could have got free like that. But I thought Boro were doing quite a good job of keeping him reasonably quiet by his standards. One chance, one goal. And, looking back, when you look at the replay and you look at the movement of the players in the box and how they blocked off the Boro defenders and how he made his run at the perfect time, it just goes to show, again, there's an Athletic article on it. We've spoken about it, loads of stuff about the set pieces, both going forwards and defensively, what difference it's made to our game. I mean, I don't know, I've lost count of the number of goals we've scored from them now, but it seems like every time we get a corner or a free kick, I'm expecting a chance to happen. And Harry Wilson's delivery is perfect, but when you've got someone like Mitrovic on the end of it, it probably doesn't even have to be. You just have to get it in the right area. But to see him basically on the penalty spot in the box, unmarked, it's crazy that he's been allowed to do that. I know the routine was good, but if I'm a Boro defender or Chris Wilder, I'm livid.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing because the rain is lashing it down. So to even, leap, time the header, get the connection on it and find the top corner is fantastic. Could Lumley have done better? Maybe. I think maybe.
I mean, it is really powerful, so I don't know. But it is, it's straight at him. I think I'd give him the benefit of the doubt because it is so powerful. But yeah, I mean, I think if that was Gazaniga, for example, I think maybe the reaction online from Fulham fans would have been a bit,
Well, I don't rate Lumley as a keeper whatsoever. I don't think many Boro fans do either. He's very shaky. But
the
even
ball at
so,
his feet
great
all
header.
night, Jack. He seemed like and I was at home, and like I think at one point I had the sound off, and I could still feel that the Boro fans would probably be nervous when the ball was at his feet. I don't know if that came across in the ground, but for you guys, you must have been thinking that there's a few times he cleared it and it went just past Mitrovic or Carvalho who were closing him down.
I have to say, one thing that really annoyed me was watching a vlog from the game. There wasn't many. I think there was 3 that I watched, but the main one really got on my nerves because the whole vlog, it was about half an hour, and the whole vlog was just him bouncing up and down singing that one song, that the basically the Stephanie Hansen song, of which I don't know why we joined in with an ex-Fulham player. I mean, it was ridiculous, but he basically at one point panned to the Fulham fans and said, "I can't believe they're sitting down for this away." When from the angle of which he's in the ground, he can only see the bottom part of the away. Like, there must have been like 50 fans or whatever. It was like, I can't believe that. If you'd actually like walked around and had a proper look, you would have been able to see that we're all standing, we're all singing. It was just so ridiculous. He was also very clueless. He didn't know what he was talking about. So I was going to comment, but I thought there's just no point. I'm not that angry about it. We won the game. Atmosphere-wise, it was fantastic. I have to give credit to, even though I just had a go at only singing one song, it did feel like a good atmosphere sort of game. A bit of to and fro between the fans. Obviously, we came out on top, so obviously it makes it 100 times better. I was slightly worried about walking through all the Boro fans back to the car. It was like a 10-15 minute walk from the ground, but I thought, oh, God. But no, it was fine. It honestly was fine. It always happens. They always give it large and they go, oh, come and meet us outside. Nothing happens, touch wood, until we go to, where is our next derby? That'll be fun. But yeah, what was I going to say about the goal? Great goal from Mitrovic. Sort of out of nowhere. Obviously, it's a good free kick and it's a good header, but I genuinely thought this was going to finish 0-0. And yeah, very, very pleased with the result. What does it mean for the table, Joe? Where do we lie? What needs to be done? And can we talk about the fact that Bournemouth didn't have a shot on target at West Brom away?
I hope so, because it's very funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I mean, we thought we were bad when we went to West Brom. To be fair, I mean, from what I've seen, I think our performance was probably worse at West Brom, but the way they capitulated in that first 10, 15 minutes was crazy. I don't know if you've seen the goals, but both of them just horrific defending. But anyway, the table basically is we're 11 clear of Bournemouth with a better goal difference. They do have a game in hand, so obviously if they were to win that, they would go 8 points behind, but that's still a huge gap. We're at the stage now where basically we need two more wins, but obviously a win and a defeat for Forest, which hopefully this weekend
who are Forest playing?
Would see us up. Birmingham. So it is it's one of those where, you know, it's Birmingham at home. I'm not so sure that even if Birmingham get a result that it would be a win, especially the way that Forest are playing. But it's one of those things where you never know what can happen. And it is, you know, a Midlands derby. I mean, I don't think Birmingham and Forest particularly hate each other, but it is, you know, it's probably the same as like Fulham playing Charlton, something like that. Maybe even less so. I don't know. No one really cares. Nothing against Charlton, by the way. I actually quite enjoy going to the Valley.
Good club.
Yeah.
Good club.
But yeah, so basically, for me, this game was even less so about the automatic promotion, but more about the title. There was a lot of talk this week because Bournemouth had been in quite good form. And obviously, if the results had been reversed, Bournemouth had won and we'd have lost, the gap would have been down to 5 points between us. They would also have had a game in hand. They also have to play us at home. And suddenly you're thinking, oh my goodness, the title race is wide open. I think it'd be fair to say. So to swing that on its head and end up further ahead of them, to be honest, I wasn't expecting. And I just love to see it. And there's a great, we say every week, Cottage Analytica, go and have a look at their timeline, because to plug them again, they've got a thread on when we could reasonably win the league title that's very informative. I think it could be as early as the 18th, which is the day before we play Preston. That would take a number of things going our way, as you'd expect. I think Bournemouth would have to lose their next 3, and we'd have to win our next 2, the only 2 games we play before then. So that's Coventry and Derby, but it's possible. What it does show is that it's now not unrealistic for us to go to Bournemouth as champions, or for us to go to Bournemouth needing a draw / a win to become champions. So basically, this Boro game for me has automatic promotion is happening, zero doubt, 100%. Thought that before the game. This just solidifies it. But the title now, I can't see us not winning it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it would take a bit of a slip up. And I think Bournemouth's running is just too hard. But I genuinely think, like, I was listening to the podcast earlier, and Jack made a very good point as to why Forest could get top 2. And it genuinely is on. It really could actually happen, depending on, obviously, results. Sheffield United play Bournemouth at 12. 6:30 tomorrow morning. And Everton play United at the same time. I was looking forward to watching them both, but I've been assigned to Watford v Leeds, so I can't. So that'd be fun.
I mean,
Anyway,
that's a huge game, Jack. By the way, you've got yourself a good one there.
I'm very excited to go see Watford v Leeds, because if Watford win, that puts them back in it and drags Leeds into it again. And if Leeds win, they're probably safe. And there's some work to do. But obviously, I'm a neutral, but I will want Watford probably to win because of Roy Hodgson. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in his press conference afterwards, because I haven't actually ever seen Roy Hodgson that close up in the flesh before. We're running out of time. I just realised we're meant to be going for 20 minutes, and we have 3 more things to talk about. Let's just really quickly rush through them.
Let's do it.
We're recording on Friday evening. Game's on Sunday. Luton at home is on a Monday at 5:15. Your very quick thoughts, Joe.
Firstly, I was really annoyed until I realised it was a bank holiday. Now I'm not that annoyed. But it is just a bit annoying. You can see why they've done it, because they're thinking potential trophy ceremony, I'm presuming, because it's the last home game. But it's just a bit annoying. We haven't had many Saturday 3 p.m s, and they're the best. So it is a shame that's it for this season. Yeah, got a couple of away ones. Thank God that Bournemouth is, but just a shame, really.
Yeah, big shame. But thankfully, I mean, it affects a lot of people. A lot of people are like, I can't go now. But thankfully, it doesn't affect myself personally. But I have to feel sorry for the fans, because, again, it's short notice. Again, it's Sky. I get it. Like, it'd be nice to record it on TV and watch the trophy celebrations, hopefully, if we win it back and stuff. But yeah, just a bit of a shame. Fabio Carvalho is going to Liverpool. I don't want to give this much time because the podcast have already talked about it. But I'm quite pleased with the 20% sell-on fee, because that means if he goes for a bigger fee to, like, I don't know, I could see him go to like a Barcelona or a Real Madrid, and in a few years' time, maybe we get a nice chunk of cash for that, and that will help us, I suppose.
Yeah, all things considered, and with the context of his contract, we've got a good deal. I think we got about as good a deal as we could have done. And it's quite good to see that the relationship between the two clubs is good, because, let's face it, we're going to try and do more business with them in the summer. Nico Williams, maybe some others as well, if you're looking at the rumours that we spoke about. So, I wish him all the best there. Fantastic player. Quite glad that the saga is done and that we just know what the situation is. Only thing that bugs me is the loan back situation and the fact.
Yeah.
And for me, that does change things, because you sort of, we debated this and the podcast debated it. So go and listen to that for a bit more info. But once we get promoted, and then if we do win the league title, and once that's wrapped up, it becomes a case of, is there actually any benefit to Fulham playing him for the rest of the season? Because he's not going to be here next year. Is it worth trying someone else, whether it's a youth player or someone from a different position? In that number 10, we're going to need to find a replacement. And it's an interesting debate. And I guess we have to see the context of the season for what happens for that. It's just obviously it's not nice knowing that he's gone. He's a fantastic player, but I think we were all quite resigned to this for quite a while.
We were, and it's like, obviously it's annoying because it's come in the middle. Like, imagine if we were like 4th or 3rd or still chasing like top 2, and he'd done like, I don't think it'd be a thing. I think it's the fact that we basically know we're up, we can replace him, blah blah blah. But what I'd like to see now is, I don't want to see him play. Like, I'm not too like, I like him as a player. I don't really like the fact that he was resigned to go to Liverpool from January. Has his performances dipped since then? Possibly. I said stick Sonny Hilton in the 10. That's somewhat with tongue in cheek, but I would love to see it happen. But I'd actually like to see Harry Wilson play in the 10, Bobby Reed and Cabano on either side. That'd be quite nice. Like, if we have to play Carvalho, if Silva feels like he's a must to get this title done, then play him. I don't know what sort of reception he's going to get. And finally, Joe, really quickly, Coventry at home. What would you change? Score prediction, and
First off, it's a massive shame that Matty Godden won't be at the Cottage, because I'd have loved to see some more of his theatrics.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, he's injured, so obviously, wouldn't wish that on anybody. But same time,
don't dive.
Don't dive. It's a game that I think that we will win. I think we're on a roll, and I'm confident going up against Coventry that we will have a reaction compared to the last time we played them. That's where our season changed. And it's almost nice looking back at that game, knowing what happened after. So many things changed since then. In terms of the team I play, I'm reluctant to change much because I think that we are on a bit of a roll, as I said, but I think that Cabano should start, and I think that would be ahead of Bobby. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nico Williams come back in, although I'm not 100% sure who that would be for, because I'm not sure if he would put him at right back and drop Tete straight away when Tete, I thought, did fine.
Yeah.
I'm also not sure if he'd want to put him at left back when Brian's been fine. So, you know what? I'm actually thinking stick with the back four that played against Middlesbrough, stick with Tete, and reevaluate after the Coventry game, because I don't think either Brian or Tete deserves to be dropped. And obviously, it was unfortunate that Williams missed out due to the personal reasons that he was missing the game. But I don't think Tete deserves to lose his place. Then in midfield, if Kearney is back, then I would play him instead of Chalobah. If Kearney's not back, then I'd play Seri instead of Chalobah. And Chalobah did fine against Middlesbrough. I think it was his sort of game. But I feel like it's one of those where we're looking for a bit more creation and inventiveness from midfield. And I'd probably back either of those to do that slightly better than Chalobah. But what about you?
I think based on, I always talk about Marco Silva and what he does when a player is out and then is available again, he doesn't start them. So I don't think that we're going to see Williams. I think we'll see him on the bench. I think Brian, I think maybe keeps his place. I think he deserves it. Was really good again against Middlesbrough. Tosin Ream, and then Tete right back, Redick and goal, obviously. I'd bring in Seri and Harrison Reed. And then, would you put Kenny in the 10? Potentially not. What I would love to see is Sonny Hilton in the 10. But I think we'll see Carvalho. I want to see Wilson and then Bobby D. Cordova-Reid one side of him and Cabano the other with Mitrovic up front. I think Carvalho will probably play. So it'll probably be a familiar story. Again, like I said, interesting to see what sort of reception he gets. I mean, booing him...
no, I don't think so.
I don't
think that's right.
He got his dream move. We got some money out of it. It's not like he's completely snaked us.
Yeah.
There we go.
You.
No.
There you go.
Well, I can't hear you now, Joe.
Oh.
You know what? I think let's just, with our fingers, give a score prediction. Just to be fun. 3-0. I know, 4-0 Fulham. Thanks so much for being here, Joe. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. I just got too excited and rustled the microphone wire and it's gone out. If you can't hear this, we're very sorry. But enjoy the game. This is ridiculous. Enjoy the game. We'll see you Sunday at the Half Moon if you're there and for the game. And where the hell is it? Here we go. Sorry about this, Joe. I'll see you Sunday. This is unbelievable. It's never boring here, Jack and Joe Show. We'll see you Sunday. Come on, Fulham.